Hey guys, what's up? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review I want to talk about Wheeljack, the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Deluxe Class Wheeljack. Pardon the backdrop here, he decided to take a nap while I was reviewing, so we're going to just ignore him and go ahead and talk about the figure. I gotta stop saying go ahead. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I've noticed I've been saying that a lot lately. We'll try to not do that. Anyway, this is Wheeljack. He's in the same size as all the other Deluxes pretty much. He's a little bulkier and maybe just a tiny bit shorter, but overall he's the same size. He's also one of the, I keep saying they're all one of the better ones. They're all really great, so it's really just going to come down to a matter of opinion. I think they're all great, and I'll just stop saying that. He comes with two swords. They just go right into his hands like regular swords would. Right there with the handle. He also has these, which I guess he could hold them like this if he wanted to, but those are made more for the robot mode. They actually have some paint on them. They have the dark gray molded part and then the silver painted part. And if you look really close on toward the hilt of the sword, you can see some inscription on the blade, which is really nice touch. Nice tiny detail that they didn't have to do, but they did. So that was very cool. One thing I kind of wish they did was gave him a place to hide his swords, like he has them in the show, in his back like that. But there's no place to put them. Not really. I mean, you could stick them in there, but they're not meant to go. So that's kind of a bummer. Get those out of there. As far as paint goes, there's a good amount of paint on him. He's molded in mostly white and dark gray plastic, but then he has the black and the red and the green throughout. Pretty nice looking figure. The taillights have some yellow on them. The face is done just about perfectly. He's got the silver, the mouth guard that it's always down on the figure. In the show it removes, but he's got that. He's got the dark gray, the silver, this other silver, and then the blue eyes. So very nice looking. The only thing he's really missing is the Autobot logo on his chest. Otherwise he looks just about spot on. Head articulation's pretty good. He's got a great range of motion forward and backward, regular side to side, no complaints there. These shoulder pieces you can adjust. You can move them however you want to. The most accurate way to do it for the show is to keep them kind of like that. It makes his arms a little bit lengthy, but not too bad. So that's an old school ball joint, somewhat limited based on the sculpt, but it also has a rotation built into it. And like I said, this other bicep you can kind of treat as part of the shoulder, and it still works pretty well. So that's very nice there. He does have this bicep joint and this one, so you can play with that however you want to give him the posing and the articulation you want. So that's very useful. The hand has a rotation in it, which is great. So the wrist rotates completely, and it has a hinge in it. So he's got basically as much articulation as you can put in a wrist. So it's very nice. You can snap the swords in there very easily, like I said earlier, and that's a very good touch. He has no waist articulation, unless mine is just frozen. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure there's none there. So no waist articulation like some of the other guys. Kind of a disappointing thing, but not too bad. Hips, pretty much the same as the other guys. It's an old school ball joint with a thigh swivel built in. Very nicely done. You can see the guts of it from the back, but from the front, it looks pretty darn good. I like it. The knee joint, single knee joint, but you can get just about 90 degrees out of that, so full articulation. The little spike thing moves on its own, so you can put that how you want it, and it looks really good either way. Oops, you're not supposed to do that. The foot is on a ball joint, so you can give him a nice ankle rocker. You can spread his legs. That sounds bad. You can move his feet apart and still make him stand nicely like that. You can just turn the feet in a little bit. So that's a nice touch. I'm glad that they're adding this extra articulation. And then it has pretty good backward movement. Not so much forward due to the shin armor. There goes my phone. But overall it's got good articulation. And then of course it rotates this way. If you needed to, you could always... Does that not swing? Okay, no it doesn't. I'm sorry, I forgot. So yeah, that's it then for the ankle, but still good amount. And the feet, even though they're kind of skinny, they're still a nice base for the figure. They're pretty flat, and you can get some pretty good poses out of him. I have limited space here due to the cat, but so I can't really show you, but it does, you're gonna have to take my word for it, he has good posability and good standing ability. I'll measure his height real quick. He's, yeah, just about 5 1/4 inches tall to the head, a little taller if you count here. So they're all about in scale with each other. Let me get him transformed, and we'll talk about the vehicle mode or robot mode. I'm going to give a 9.5 out of 10. This guy's really, really good. Okay, so I've got Wheeljack transformed. He's in his vehicle mode. Now, as far as I've gotten on the show, we haven't seen his vehicle mode. So this, it probably is why it still looks pretty Cybertronian. It does not look like an Earth-based vehicle. Obviously, it still has tires and wheels and stuff, so I don't know. Maybe it's what he looks like. Maybe they have his vehicle mode. Maybe he's in the show. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I'm not far enough in the show at this point to tell you, but this is what it is. It does look really cool. It measures just about 5 inches, maybe a little bit over 5 inches long, so it's good size. Paintwork's pretty solid. It's not perfect, but it is there. It's done pretty well. Fits together pretty well, I have to say. It's a little bit easier with all these angled pieces that tuck into each other, I suppose, but it's done pretty well. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I like the fact that his wheels are painted and that his windows are dark. You can still see through them, but they're dark, and I think that looks a little bit better than having the lighter colored windows. He does have his little swords down here. They stash like that for when you're not using them. You can't even tell they're there really from the profile. If you look, turn it up, you can, but it's there. And he rolls just fine, nice and smooth, even with the swords on there, so that's a nice touch. The swords pop off, they just peg in right there on those little tabs. And then he can also hold them like this. I don't know if you want to say hold, or if I want to say hold, but they tab in like that, which I probably wouldn't do because I think that'll touch. Yeah, it touches, so you should probably tab them in facing up, which is how the thing shows on the package. It's just kind of ugly with those things, the little handles on there. But he does have swords on the front of his car if you want them. Me personally, like I said with the Ratchet figure, I would just leave them tabbed in down here for storage and let the vehicle mode be a vehicle mode. So I'm going to give this guy's vehicle mode a 8.5 out of 10. Without the weapons in the front there, it looks kind of empty and weird. And it's still, I think the vehicle modes could use a little bit more paint. They just look a little bit bland. This one not so much, but it could use a little bit of at least a dry brush or a wash or something. So there it is, guys. There's Wheeljack. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos. And in the meantime, keep collecting.